this day, Jill's made a list, she's gone around, and some of you are willing to share early projects, and I enjoy that a lot. I know that it can be very anxiety-producing to stand up in front of colleagues, especially you don't know, and share something you're just trying out for the first time, but I will do everything I can to make it fun and constructive, and just give little tips of things I've heard that connect to your projects. Hopefully, those of you who do present will, I hope, get more out of today than people who don't, because we can help you think about things surrounding your project. So I'm looking forward to that. And did I not mention Kaizena last time? I better throw in, let me just give you a couple of tips on things I've been learning. I'm learning all the time too, by the way, obviously. And so I can appreciate how difficult it is to learn new things all the time, trust me. Kaizena, this is Kaizena. Kaizena is kind of an app that goes with Google Docs. Are any of you at Google Docs at school? You have, look at this room. All right, then this is really going to work for a lot of people in this room. Kaizena, when you get it, you log in with your Google account. And what Kaizena does is it opens up your Google folders in Kaizena. So if you're an English teacher and you have kids who have written documents, they're in the folder. What Kaizena does, am I logged in? What Kaizena does is it allows a teacher to record her voice and highlight. Instead of just, there's an account, I'll just open up with my account, Kaizena, we'll say accept. And when you're in Kaizena, you see what's in your Google Drive. And then you can open up an essay written by one of your students from Kaizena. See, I've already highlighted. Kaizena gives you different colors. It also will tell you, by the way, how many students worked on that project. So this particular essay, there were 6 students. You can pick the ones you want. So you just want to give feedback to Alan November, you just click on Alan November, right? But for those of you who do collaborative writing, probably most of your projects are just a single author, I would guess, but in my world, we do a lot of collaborative writing. And then what you do is you just highlight any part of it, like I'll just highlight that. And when you do highlight, automatically what pops up is a microphone. And you just click on the microphone, and then you hit record, and then you start recording your voice. And you say how wonderful this work is, or where it needs help, or. You can change the colors. Things pop up with different colors, and then you save them, and off you go. You can also put in links. You can also work in the margins. This is quite the tool. So here's what we have learned.
Students have to also open up their documents.
Yes, what happens is, students log in with their Google account, they go in, get there, click on what they've done, and your highlights are there in different colors, and each highlight can potentially carry a little button. They click on the button, and it's your voice. So, how many of you have recorded your voice in student work in this room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How's it going? Any not so good? No?
Well, you can record your voice, and then, are they going to listen?
Are they going to listen?
They listen.
Right, are they going to listen? Anybody else have a story? Recording your voice? Are they going to listen? Yes?
I was the one audio-visual PowerPoint flashcards, so the kids, if they are studying more vocabulary, they flashcards.
Yeah.
I taught them how to do it, but they actually like their own voice better than mine.
Yeah. So, to answer your question, do they listen? What some teachers are doing is they're saying to their students, when you hear my voice and my comments, I'd like you to record back. So all you do is you close the loop of accountability. So you say to the kids, I would like you to record your voice on how you're going to respond to my comments, then you know if they did or didn't. And frankly, we probably should have been doing that all along. It turns out, when you look at the research, I was just talking about this with the Millville group, when, I think I mentioned last time, I'm a big fan of John Hattie, right? John Hattie is this New Zealand guy who went to Australia, and he has, I think, research on what works. He looked at 850 research studies and went through all of the major research studies in K-12 education. And what has the greatest effect? If you were going to intervene anywhere, where would you intervene, right? And it turns out that students who self-assess is the #1 skill of a learner who knows how to check their work, how to go through a set of questions their teacher has helped them understand, a learner who asks a friend to reflect with them, what do you think about this work? Learners who take responsibility for assessing their own work turns out to be more successful as a group than learners who just pass in their work to a teacher, waiting for the teacher to assess it. Do any of you believe this? Self-assessment, get a group of kids who self-assess and see what they do compared to kids who do not self-assess. Take a look at the difference.
Do you think it would work if I scanned like a PDF? I'm a music teacher, so if I scanned a PDF of a choral piece we were working on,
Yes.
recorded my voice,
Yes.
they could sing back to me?
Well, I'll tell you what, Music -1?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in this private school, they had a gorgeous music rooms, soundproof, right, lined up all along the way. And Music -1, you probably know, is something like the New York Philharmonic missing the oboe. So you put headphones on and you're listening to the New York Philharmonic in your headphones as if you're sitting in the orchestra and you play the oboe. Then you record, these rooms are set up so that when you play the oboe with the New York Philharmonic, it records. Then you can listen to the oboe that you played embedded in the New York Philharmonic. Most kids, when they practice, they're not sitting with the New York Philharmonic. So I was talking to the music teachers taking me through, and I said, does this work? And the teacher said, oh yeah. They get immediate feedback, they know if they're off, they know their timing, they never knew this before. This is really quite something. And I always ask what goes wrong, because stuff always goes wrong. I said, what goes wrong? They said, oh, they won't play for the high school orchestra anymore. They want to play for the New York Philharmonic. But that's an example. That's an example of technology, right, that allows you to listen to the New York Philharmonic.
I've done it where they have to listen to me, but I don't really get to listen along.
Yeah, yeah. No, it turns out there's a lot of technology. I gotta make this whole grid. I gotta work on this. There's a lot of technology that will allow students to get their own assessment. And when students can get their own assessment, especially if it's fast, like that one I just told you, you're in a better position to improve playing the oboe than if you practice for 2 hours at home, you don't know how well you did it all, you come in and play with a high school orchestra, and the high school music teacher says, excuse me, but your timing is a little bit off, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we ought to focus on teaching students how to assess their own work. What are all the technologies, like this one in music, that we can harness? In fact, what some teachers are doing with Kaizena is they're having kids record their voice when they hand in their paper. So not only do you get the student's paper, but you get their voice recorded in the paper where they're explaining something the teacher asked them to reflect about besides the paper. So now you're getting Kaizena on the front end, teaching kids to be reflective about their own work. Have any of you tried that little trick? Little trick, it's not a... And it turns out that when kids start talking about their own work, they might catch things. They might realize that they could have fixed that. Plus, the teacher has more insight. If you just get a paper, you don't have the kid's thoughts with the paper. Now you have extra information about the kid thinking about their paper. Gesundheit. Have any, no one's done that, right? Ask a student to record their voice on top of whatever work they hand in. You might try that. That might work with some kids. Anyway, I'll tell you a crazy story. I first heard about Kaizina in Australia. I did a lot of work there, and this private school has a network, and they have a counter, and they know how often kids open files. That's just traffic. Networks can do that. You know who goes where, when do they go, and how long is it open. All that data is generated seamlessly behind the wall. So they discovered, and this is a private school, so, special case. The average number of times that kids opened a file where teachers recorded their voice was 7. The average number of times kids opened a file where teachers only put handwritten notes was less than 1. 7 to 1. They couldn't believe it, but they had the data. They started asking kids, why do you go back to listen to your teacher's voice when you don't? And the kids said all kinds of things. They said, I can't read my teacher's writing, from I don't even know what my teacher means, to I don't understand. I already got the grade. It was graded. Why would I go back? Because there's nothing I could do to get a better grade. That's something we should talk about, by the way. I can't read cursive. But then the most interesting thing happened. The kids said, when our teachers record their voice, they're a lot more positive. Do you believe that? They're more positive because they have more time. By the way, they'll save you time. You can talk probably faster than you can write. I don't know, maybe some of you can write faster than you can talk, but it turns out that when teachers record their voice, the majority of teachers are nicer. Does that make any sense? And then kids said, well, I'll go home, and my teacher recorded her voice, I'll have my parents listen to it. So I open it again. And we asked those kids, did you go home and show your parents the written comments? They said, no, we never do that. But our teacher's nicer. So I don't know. Maybe it's not just the verbal, maybe it's the quality. It's the tone, that now the teacher's tone is there. Kids also say it's more personal, that the handwritten comments are not as personal as the teacher's voice and how they listen to their teacher's voice. And if you look at the research, response to intervention, how a student responds to teacher criticism is the second most powerful thing to change. So without meaning to be too dramatic about it, you know the deal. Criticism can either cut a kid off at his knees and make them feel dumb, and make them feel like an idiot, and make them feel like they're a failure. Or criticism can inspire a kid to go on and try again. And so you have this amazing difference in how children respond to teachers' criticism. From I'm dumb and I'm a failure to I'm inspired. And you'll have to decide, what the range is for you and your students between those extreme positions. But if you happen to have kids who are not doing well and who feel like failures, you might try this. Change the way you give feedback. Uh-oh, is that okay to say? Guess not, but wait, it is.
It's also true when you're texting or you have a phone conversation. You text something and the interpretation of what you texted is not what I intended to say.
Oh, did I get in trouble? Yes,
Yeah,
I have
you don't
gotten.
text anymore.
Oh my God. Plus the automatic spell corrector things, that's stupid things. I should write down some funny things that have happened to me in texting. Do any of you have stories like that? Automatic spell check on the texting thing, it changes whatever he was going to say. But yes, that's an example. That's an example. Tone of voice can be so important. Your tone, how you say, intonation, all that. Yeah. Oh, plus, one more. Advantage. So the teachers in Australia have been doing this a couple of years. And one teacher said, you know what's really nice is after you have all these files that you recorded, your voice is embedded in student work. You can cut and paste some of those when you give the assignment next year. No, why are you laughing at me? No, I'm serious. This is a good thing. So the kids can listen to their teacher's voice, comment on last year's student work for more clarity about what the teacher expects. So they see, or hear, and see, because it's highlight also, they get much more clarity about what that teacher is expecting, rather than just the assignment, right? Write this paper. Or write this paper and listen to these 3 responses I gave last year to student work when you write the paper. Just imagine you're a learner. Which one would be better for you? And there's one more benefit. Then, staff development, you're having a department meeting, and teachers they play some of their responses. And other teachers work with each other. You build this in your professional learning communities. You bring samples of your feedback, and teachers listen to one another, and they help each other respond to the student in a different way, maybe, or say, yay, right on, or so it builds professional best practice. Sharon? Okay, it's just a thought. Just a thought. It's free, too. I like that. It's free. Kaizena. I think kaizena is a Japanese word that means improvement over time. Continuous improvement over time. Kaizena. And see, I think we should use technology, not a new thing every day, but one thing like kaizena with feedback every day. Because then you only have to teach this one thing, and you can have a huge improvement, potentially, in student learning with just one tool. Where compare that to teaching something like Prezi, which is a one-shot project. So I just thought I would share that with you.